All right. I believe we are fired up and ready to go. Steve, how are you doing, man?
I think we are. Good. How are you
Awesome.
doing?
Fantastic, fantastic. Just getting over the holidays, and now we've got, all of the chaos and craziness of the holidays settled through, and we've kind of introduced a new collagen a shot that is really people are really enjoying. I know I'm enjoying, so I'm glad to be able to kind of spend this time to talk a little bit about the collagen shop, but then also all of the collagen, just because we've got so many different products that do have collagen in them. And as you mentioned, I mean, collagen or gelatin has kind of been the hallmark of Dr. Wallach and Youngevity for a very long time, right?
Absolutely. Going back before Youngevity existed, and we're getting ready to celebrate our 30th anniversary. But even before that, my father had lectured and talked about the importance he talked about it in terms of gelatin before, but gelatin contains collagen. Gelatin is collagen. Much of what's in gelatin is collagen. And so, he's talked about the benefits. If you go back to the tape, to the audio, to the lecture, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, if you read the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and, you go way back in history, he discovered that with animals, one of the things, especially with mobility, bones, and joint health, that was super important was collagen. It's not one of the 90 essential nutrients because your body doesn't require it for life, but it is one of those super important nutrients or ingredients because your body does require collagen production. And as we age, your collagen production declines, of course, and it comes from diet. And so by supplementing with collagen, your body then takes that building block and uses it where it needs. You and I talk about rest and restore so much in the raw materials, as my father would say, the building blocks are super important. And he talked about it in terms of, the matrix for bone and joint formation and bone and joint health. The collagens, like the glue that the minerals, kind of combine with to make bone and all of that stuff, the bone matrix for bone health. But it's so important for skin, nails, hair, cartilage, sorry, and ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, all of those things that go into strength and mobility, which equal longevity. And so collagen's very important. And so yes, it goes way back to in my father's history of health lectures and health research. I've talked about this so much that really my father could have been known, and there's still time, as the collagen doctor. But for whatever reason around that audio, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, people really latched onto the minerals, and he was known as and has been known as the mineral doctor because they thought that was the takeaway. They thought, well, after 2.5 hours of a lecture, he was really talking about minerals. But if you go back and you listen to that audio from 30 years ago, 30 plus, he talked just as much about the pig arthritis formula and how important gelatin is, and the Harvard study about type 2 collagen, right? And so, all of a sudden, 30, 40 years later, collagen is like super hot in the nutritional and wellness and supplement space. But he was talking about the importance of this for decades. And so here we are as Youngevity. Of course, we have multiple options because that's what we do. We have overlapping options for many different types of ingredients or nutrients or supplements. Collagen is no different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that at the very end of the day, with the reason why collagen isn't, as associated with 90 for life or 90 essential nutrients is, guys, at the very end of the day, the 90 essential nutrients, as you know, the story is that any deficiency in one of those nutrients can lead to a certain type of illness or disease. Okay, right? So you've got actually an illness or disease that is caused because you are deficient in a certain nutrient that is one of the 90 essential nutrients. Collagen may not be, one of those things in which if you're deficient in collagen, then you're going to have some sort of illness or disease. But what you are going to have is a complete system breakdown. You have a body breakdown because, as Steve mentioned, is that collagen is the most abundant protein in the body. And the reason why is because collagen is there to build connective tissue in the muscles in the ligaments, in the joint, in the bone, in the skin, in all of these sort of areas. So if you were deficient in collagen, then essentially you would have complete deterioration of those areas, which then would not allow you to have a very high quality of life. You would not be mobile. You would not be able to do all of these things that actually create some other benefits, like the circulatory benefits, the detoxification benefits, the respiration benefit, all that sort of stuff. So this is why collagen has become, maybe it wasn't as important when people were talking about disease or illness, but now the conversation has gone from not just about, being vulnerable to those types of issues. It's about how can you get greater performance from your body? How can you actually get a greater quality of life from your body? And collagen and protein is one of those things that you would have to have. Now, the thing about collagen, like Steve was saying, guys, is that, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back. What is collagen? Collagen is a protein. It's a protein, okay, right? Collagen happens to be the most abundant protein in the body because it is involved in the connective tissue that is in your muscles, in your ligaments, in your joints, in your bones, and all that sort of stuff, okay, right? So therefore, there's a ton of collagen in the body. The question now becomes, well, if collagen is a protein, then why don't I just eat protein? Why don't I just take protein? Why don't I just drink a bunch of the Youngevity shakes because it has whey protein and that's a protein? Well, the reason why that is because even though we're talking about protein and we're talking about collagen, what we're really talking about is amino acids. So we're talking about the building blocks of collagen, of protein. Just like we're not talking about healthy fat, we're talking about the essential fatty acids, the omega-3, the omega-6, the omega-9. These are the building blocks of fat, just as there are building blocks of protein and collagen. So the thing about collagen is that it has a certain set of amino acids, okay? And some of those amino acids are not, well, one of them is actually not even present in whey protein or other forms of protein, whether it's whey or calcium caseinate, milk protein isolates, pea protein, whatever you want to call it, okay, right? There's an amino acid that's not even in those that are actually only in collagen. And then you have certain amino acids that are in higher concentrations in collagen than in those other forms of protein. Now, it just so happens, and let's just, if you want to just quick go through them, there's proline, there's glycine, and there's hydroxyproline. These are the three amino acids that are found in collagen, either in higher amounts than whey protein or all of the other protein sources besides, let's just call them non-collagen protein sources, okay, right? They're either in higher concentrations in collagen or they're actually only in collagen. So hydroxyproline is only in collagen. Guys, the reason why that's so important is because these are the amino acids that are actually needed to build that connective tissue. Ligaments, cartilage, tendons, the fascia of muscles, the collagen that sits underneath the skin, all those sort of things. Those are actually the amino acids that are needed. So therefore, you would want to make sure that you took a protein source, meaning collagen, that had the higher amounts of those amino acids. This is why we have so many different products that have collagen in them. That's why we're introducing collagen in other products like Z-Radical or Saxy or whatever, is because the thing is, guys, is that when you're losing 1% of the amount of collagen that your body has after the age of 20, so that means I'm 50, and so every year I've been losing 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1% for over 30 years. That's a compounding amount of collagen that I'm losing. So therefore, I'm creating a lot of weaknesses in my ligaments, my tendons, my joints, my fascia, the things, my organs, the connective tissue in my muscles and things like that. And if you think that you're going to just get that from just getting protein, the problem is the protein is already used up. As you guys know, as I've been trying to teach you guys, hey, try to get about 0.8 grams to 1 gram of protein per body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, I'd love for you to get 200 grams of protein on a daily basis. I highly doubt you're doing that because it's really hard to do that. And so here's the deal. I'm not even doing that on a consistent basis because it's hard. And when I do that, that protein actually is used for my muscles. It's used for other things outside of the things that I just told you. So therefore, you can see how collagen then slowly gets deficient throughout the years and therefore causes all of these other issues. This is why, guys, we have so many different products with collagen, is because we know, as Dr. Wallach knew, the incredible importance of that, the very difficult thing to actually replace those amino acids, meaning that are in collagen. And then secondly, what we've really done when you take a look at all the products, because a lot of people always ask us, like, so Steve, like, why do you have collagen? Why did you make a product with collagen peptides, hair, nail, and skin? And then you got another one that's just the collagen. And then you have another one that's the collagen joint health. Why are there 3 different ones? Which one should I take? You can't just look at the collagen. You have to look at the other ingredients that we've paired with collagen, because those other ingredients that we've paired with collagen actually cause it to be a more targeted formula for the specific benefit that we're looking for. If you look at the collagen hair, nail, and skin, what you're seeing is a base of collagen, and then you're seeing all of the other cofactors and ancillary nutrients that would allow, that are needed for your hair, nails, and skin, if you will, so that you can have a complete formula that includes the collagen, if that makes sense. Right, Steve? That's the essence of Youngevity's formulas, is that we're always trying to not just give you the one ingredient that is the medium, but we're giving you all of the other things so that you can have a complete, comprehensive formula for the specific benefit that we want you to have.
Absolutely. And, you brought up amino acids, and that is part of my father's 90 essential nutrients. There's I think 12 amino acids that are essential. And so you're right. We're adding collagen, amino acids and collagen as a base to many different products. And why do we have all these different products? Do I have to take them all to get collagen? No. And so, it is about choice. We were talking to somebody yesterday, Michelle and I, and it was, well, how about, the new collagen versus, what you've been taking? And they're like, I like what I like, I'll try it, but, maybe I'll like it too. But, it is about getting people to get collagen in their body, however they're taking it. So if, you're, what's important to you is hair, skin, and nails, and you're getting the collagen as part of that, fantastic. If it's Z radical, fantastic. It's got now 2 grams of additional collagen. It's a start. I would suggest more than 2 grams of collagen. That's a good amount of collagen as a supplement. Most supplements on the market don't even have 2 grams that are collagen supplements, but Youngevity's do. Some have 20 grams of collagen per serving in Youngevity's lineup. And so we have a spectrum of products and ways to add collagen, because we know how important it is to that longevity. And you brought up quality of life a few minutes ago. That is so important. It's not just about living long. It's about living long well. It's about living younger longer. And the younger part really is mobility. It's flexibility. And so collagen plays a huge role in that. And that's what my father's been talking about. But now that the marketplace is really kind of the wind at our backs in messaging and educating the public on that topic, we have a multitude of options for people to find what fits their lifestyle and their interests. And so that is why we have an array of ways of getting collagen, because we do believe it is that important in that longevity discussion.
Yeah, I think that, like, sometimes, Steve, people are focusing so much on the ingredient when they really should be focusing on the benefits that we're trying to derive from that product using those ingredients. So let me give an example, okay, right? So the collagen that I consume the most is just the collagen peptides. So the pure, just straight collagen peptides. Just real quick, guys, the difference between collagen peptides and collagen is collagen peptides are basically the individual parts of collagen. They break down collagen. If I were to drink bone broth, bone broth was a big deal a little while ago or whatever, that's fine and great. But the problem is that collagen, that whole collagen needs to be broken down in the body into collagen peptides, and then the body then reassembles those collagen peptides and then has them in the structures that they want to put it in. And so some people have a difficult time in breaking down that collagen. They may not have the best digestive environment. So the best form to actually consume collagen is the collagen peptides because it's already broken down and pre-digested. So therefore now the body, I don't have to worry about how your digestive system is. They're already broken down and then the body just has to reassemble it. By the way, that's why we have collagen peptides in our product line rather than bone broth. Okay, right? So the thing about the reason why I use the collagen peptides is because the majority of reason why I'm taking the collagen is to build the fascia, meaning the outer laying of my the webbing around my muscles, my organs, things like that, and then also the connective tissue that is for my muscles, in my muscles. So therefore, that's the best one for me. My sister, she's using the collagen peptides hair, nail, and skin. Her hair is thinning. She's 53 years old, so menopause has caused some of those things. She's been losing weight, so therefore she's got some, her skin is kind of sagging a little bit. And I don't tell her that or whatever, but like and so she's more focused on really trying to build that collagen there. So therefore, for her, that's a better option for her than something else. The one that I'm taking, okay, right? Some people are like, hey, listen, I just want general collagen in my diet because I'm not getting enough collagen in my diet for whatever reasons. I drink coffee, and so why don't I just put my collagen in my coffee, and I need a creamer, so I use my collagen creamer. That's how you all have to think about which collagen product is the right collagen product for you, right? And when we introduced the collagen shot, I mean, basically all we were trying to do is say, hey, listen, you know what? Here's another form of getting your collagen. Like, here's another way of doing it. It may be a little bit more convenient. It tastes good. We've done some kind of unique things with that collagen in the sense where the collagen peptides was primarily collagen type 1 and type 3 collagen. That is the collagen for your muscles and for your fascia and things like that. The hair, nail, and skin was more about collagen type 5 for the skin, In this one, we have a variety of collagens for you, and they come from a variety of sources. Someone was talking about why did we use the different types of sources that we did? Well, simply because that is the best way to get that collagen. That even though collagen is found in a lot of different fishes. Collagen is found in a lot of different animal-based, bovine, chicken, fish, all that. So each of those sources have a higher concentration of a certain type of collagen. Type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. The difference between those types is, as I was going back to the fact that they have certain amino acid profiles. So therefore, there is a higher amount of hydroxyproline that is found in marine-based collagen. Well, that hydroxyproline is something that actually helps to retain moisture in the skin. So therefore, you're going to create greater elasticity in the skin, because you're using more of type 5. See, guys, this is the type of thought or thinking or formulation strategy that we use when we introduce a product. And why we have a certain source from a certain place is because we're trying to target that for a specific purpose. It's not about the ingredients. It's about what benefit that we're trying to drive, and then we find the best ingredients to be able to do that. So anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the questions, Sanjeev, is can you take too much collagen? And this goes back to your conversation around protein and age and activity level. And if you have a health concern you're addressing, all these things play into that. The short answer is there's no RDA, there's no recommended daily allowance, no FDA number around grams of collagen, but there is for protein on a 2,000 calorie per day diet, for instance. And so you might want to kind of talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing, guys, is that understandably, you would always think, because you're always thinking about vitamins and minerals and upper tolerability levels, you have toxicity levels at higher amounts and things like that. With collagen, because it's a protein, it's not necessarily that you're going to take so much of it that it's going to cause you some sort of like health issue or anything. It's just that if you take more of it, it's a macronutrient. That's like saying, what if I took too much carbohydrates? What if I took too much fats? Well, you'd just be taking in more and more calories. Remember, vitamins and minerals, they don't have any calories. And so the calorie conversation and the weight gain and all that sort of stuff, the metabolism, all that sort of stuff, that isn't a conversation. Oh, why am I looking at the wrong thing? Sorry. That isn't a conversation when you're actually talking about vitamins and minerals. You're actually talking about more of these upper tolerability levels. And so, no, you don't have an issue with taking more collagen in. It's just that, hey, listen, it is more calories. And so you just have to manage your calories if you're trying to manage your weight or do whatever. But hey, listen, if you're going to take in calories from anywhere, in my opinion, you'd want to take it more from protein than you would the other two macronutrient sources, which is carbohydrates and fat. Because the nice thing is, by the way, is that because you are taking amino acids when you are consuming protein, that can be metabolized into a lot of other different things that are beneficial for you. Enzymes, hormones, all that sort of stuff, neurotransmitters, those are actually proteins in the body. Everyone is having a huge conversation right now about peptides and the value of peptides. What are peptides? They're different proteins. They're protein signaling molecules. And so that's what these amino acids actually do, is they're protein peptide signaling molecules,
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of peptides, the newest liquid collagen shot, not an injectable shot, liquid, drinkable, has 19 different peptides. Can you talk about the 19, not that you have to address each one, but why that's important? And I think, the short answer is you're covering a whole gambit of benefits all in one. And I can tell you that I've been taking the liquid shot since we've gotten the production batch in. I took it, of course, as samples, but I can tell a difference. And I take a lot of collagen. But I think this goes back to my father's conversation about liquids. And, I can tell you, restoring cars is a hobby. I have aches and pains at almost 60 years old. And I can tell you this addresses that very, very quickly. And I think that's because it's liquid and because it has so many different specific peptides.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal, guys. Like, I know we keep talking about this, but it is so critically important is that even though we're talking about collagen, even though we're talking about peptides, even though really what we're talking about is we're talking about amino acids. We're talking about amino acids, okay, right? And as Steve said at the very beginning of this conversation, is that there's 20 amino acids, okay? 9 of them are essential, meaning that your body cannot produce them. You need to consume them from food. And then there's 11 of them that are non-essential, which non-essential essentially means is that they can be created in the body. They can be built in the body through various ways or whatever. Okay, right? So the thing is that when you're looking at what all of these, and I just used a general term, it's called connective tissue, and connective tissue is the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles, or organ, the fascia, all that sort of stuff. It's built from these little tiny building blocks of amino acids. But the thing is, guys, is that certain areas of the body have a higher need for certain amino acids, because certain amino acids, like for example, glycine, okay? Glycine is an amino acid that helps to build tensile strength. So it helps to build the tensile strength, the strength of these tissues, the ability for it to take on force and to be able to be flexing on that force and things like that. That's why you would take a certain type 2 collagen, because type 2 peptide or collagen, has a higher amount of the glycine than if you were to take type 1 or type 3. So if I were to let's say I just created a product that only had type 2, which we haven't done, but other companies have done, and that's fine. That product is going to be specific to help to build that tensile strength in the ligament and the tendon. It's not going to do much for the cartilage. It's not going to do much for your fascia. It's not going to do much for your skin. It's not going to do, now it'll do something, but it won't do as much for it. So because of that, we had an opportunity to create a collagen portfolio, a whole profile, and say, okay, guys, you're going to use 10 grams of collagen in here. How would you like that broken up? Would you like 10% of it to be type 1, 50% of it to be type 3, 20% it's type 2 or whatever? Well, we were like, hey, wait a second. If you have access to all of these different types, then why don't we just put all of them in there? Because we already had products that had the majority of the type 1 and type 3 with the collagen peptides, type 5 with the hair, nail, and skin. That's it. So we already had that. And so for us to now introduce something new, why don't we also introduce something innovative and different with the different types of collagen for you? And so this could be something, this is why we didn't necessarily target it for one specific purpose outside of just a general great awesome collagen shot that you could take on a daily basis or every few days, whatever you decided, and you felt that like, wow, I've got all of these different types of collagens. I've kind of covered my bases, and I did it in a fun, cool little way. And then what we did, obviously, is we did add certain other ingredients like the hyaluronic acid and the vitamin C and things like that, because those things were cofactors. Those things were little catalysts that allowed for the collagen to actually be better. This is why, by the way, side note, why we put vitamin C in many of our collagen products. Because like I told you, is that when you take in collagen, whether it's just the bone broth collagen or whether it's the collagen peptides, it needs to be then broken down into collagen peptides. But then when they get reassembled, vitamin C is a valuable cofactor for that reassembly. If you don't have that vitamin C, you don't have as efficient reassembly. This is why Ben Fuchs always talks about if you're deficient in vitamin C, the first place that you see it is your gums start bleeding and your gums start deteriorating. Why is that? Is because your gums are made of collagen. And when all of a sudden you don't have vitamin C to remodel that collagen or those gums on a daily basis, you're going to start to get breakdown, and that's why they start to bleed. Well, by the way, another side note is that this is why certain types are needed for gut health, because those specific amino acids that are found in that type help that intestinal lining as it regenerates or remodels, as we say, regenerates, that it builds that new kind of, protein that the intestinal lining, if you will, it builds it in a very efficient manner, right? because it has the right amino acids. And so those are just some of the things that you kind of have to think about. I know a lot of people, Dr. Wallach always talks about glucogel, right? Which is kind of his thing, right? If you got an issue, take more glucogel, right? And the reason for that is if you look at that formula, if you look at the glucogel formula, the vast majority of that formula is gelatin, it's collagen with glucosamine. So the reason why he's telling you to take that has less to do, even though it's valuable, than the glucosamine as the other gelatin collagen. It's just though that is it's just a different form of the collagen, number one, and then secondly, pairing it with glucosamine was something that at that time when we didn't have any of these other products was for some people the best mode to help to rebuild their nerve tissue and also help to build their joints. And some people like take to glucosamine like really, really well. Like I've got the friend of ours, the Pro Joint FX product, Dr. Silliman, he takes glucosamine. It works wonders for his joints. Like he loves it. It's amazing. He sees a significant difference with glucosamine. Some other people, they don't feel as much. And so therefore they might need something else. Doesn't make glucosamine a bad choice. It just makes that it's just maybe not necessarily the deficiency that you have for your joints. So therefore you might want to try something else, you know?
Would help if I unmuted. I know, we wanted to keep this call to like 30 minutes. So based on the questions and things and the interest, of course, we should do this again. But one thing I want to wrap up with is, like I said earlier, collagen all of a sudden is like, one of the hottest supplement ingredients in the wellness space. So there's a lot of competition. But my father was the one originally educating people on the benefits. Youngevity's been on that course of science and research for decades. And we also price our products very reasonably. I can tell you that looking at financials of other companies that Youngevity has probably brought in and partnered and even acquired, more companies than any company in the space of direct selling, I know what they charge. I know how they mark up their products in terms of competitors. And I can tell you that we charge a lot less for a superior product from a competition standpoint. And that's been my father's Midwest values and mine and Michelle's to carry that on. And so if you look at labels, I was looking at a collagen containing competitor product this morning. It talks about having 2.9 grams of collagen proprietary blend. The first two ingredients are sea salt in the collagen proprietary blend. Salt's important. My father talks about the benefits of salt, but that isn't collagen. And so it's misleading, that label, not ours, that you're getting 2.9 grams of collagen when most of it's salt.
Yeah.
So, in terms of competitor products, my point is that, look, Youngevity has fantastic values, fantastic products, fantastic formulations. I'd put them up against anybody in the supplement space.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what, but it's like, I think what happens, and I totally get it, okay, right, is that people will compare other products of ours that we have to what we've kind of introduced. So let's just get it out there, okay, right? So if you took a look at the collagen peptides, the powder that just has type 1, type 3 collagen, it's in a powder by itself, exactly the one Steve's showing you, right? If you compare that price per collagen to the collagen of the collagen shot is going to be more. It's not expensive, it's more. And the reason why it's more is because it's not a powder, it's in a liquid form, it uses a variety of collagens, types of collagens than the type 1, type 3, it's flavored, it's all that sort of stuff. Hey, I'm not saying that you should pay for it. I'm not saying that that's something valuable for you. All I'm trying to say is that if you are wanting to take it in that way, and you find it convenient, you find it more fun, you find it more relatable or whatever it is, then I can't price it the same way as just putting a bunch of powder that's non-flavored into a canister, right? And so we're just here to give you options, because at the very end of the day, Dr. Wallach has always said this, Steve has always said this ever since I've been here, is that, the best formulation and the best product is the one that, number one, you're deficient in, and secondly, it's the one that you'll take. So if you'll take the powder more than you'll take this shot, or if you find the shot so easily that you'll take that, then that's the best one. Because here's the thing, guys, nutrition works on a compounding basis. And I've always told you this. If you're not willing to give a product 90 days to see whether that product is going to make a difference in your life, and sometimes it's a transformation in which it makes a huge difference, or sometimes it's just like, hey, wait a second, I actually feel better on this 90th day than I did the first day, so let me just keep going with it, then just don't do it. Don't waste your money, because it doesn't make any sense. But then here's the deal. After you have decided that this is a product that's going to make a difference, do it every day. Do it as consistently as you possibly can, because all of that compounding effect is going to create a watershed moment in which you're going to wake up one day and either feel, whoa, dude, how did my life just change than the last 2 weeks? Because I was thought I was plateauing, but you just didn't realize you just hadn't hit a point in which you were going to exponentially, increase the quality of your life. Or the second thing is that you don't even know that it has given you that exponential, health benefit, because you don't notice it. But then all of a sudden you'll say to yourself, oh man, you know what? I recover a whole lot faster than I used to. Man, when I used to have that ache or pain or that soreness, it used to take forever for me to recover. Or I don't really get sick anymore. And when I do, it's so short-lived. Or I just went to the doctor and the doctor just gave me all my blood work back, and he's just like, holy cow, what have you been doing? I don't know. I've just been living the Youngevity life, I guess, right? So it's those sort of things that you just have to think about. But anyways, guys, my main thing is I just hope that you enjoy one of the collagen products, that you take it on a consistent basis, because it works for you in form, in flavor, in taste, and in economics. That's all we want, right, Steve?
Absolutely. That is all we want, is all you guys happy and healthy and living the Youngevity lifestyle for a long time, right? So longevity is part of the equation. So thank you, Sanjeev, and everybody. Yes, we will do this again. And submit your questions, submit your comments, and we'll take those to heart and to note, and we'll try our best to address them on the next one of these. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Get ready to embrace a new gold standard for wellness with our Nano Balance Tincture. It's formulated with organic, high antioxidant nutrients to help you maintain a healthy balance and bolster your health at the cellular level. Manuka honey provides more antioxidant and antimicrobial effects than any other kinds of honey. Curcumin supports a healthy immune system with its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. Thyme oil offers additional antioxidant and immune system support. Black pepper provides beneficial antioxidants and supports optimal nutrient absorption. Infuse the benefits of this amazing formula into your daily routine and embrace a happier, healthier you with Nano Balance.